Right, we're going to finish up our last example for section 8.3. This should actually say example 3. I have a little typo. Example 2 was just going through and doing subtraction. In these two examples here, for example 3, we've got some addition and some subtraction. So what I recommend doing, there's a couple of different methods of doing these problems. So we have a long string of things that are connected by operation symbols. And in these particular problems, we're just going to be using addition and subtraction. Right? So one way we can do this is we can work our way from left to right. So if we work our way from left to right, we'd start by saying, okay, well, 2 minus 3. Well, these are different signs. This is really 2 plus negative 3. Right, 2 plus negative 3, different signs, so we subtract, we get 1. Our larger number is negative, so we get a negative 1. Okay, now we're going to take care of the negative 1 that we got from that first piece, and we're going to add 4 to it. Well, negative 1 and positive 4 are different signs, so we subtract. Our larger number is positive, so in this case, a negative 1 plus 4 gives us a positive 3. Right, then we're going to look at this next one and say, well, these two negatives then become positive. So we have a positive 3 left over here, and now we have a positive 5. Well, that gives us a positive 8. Going through and just talking through that, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of different sign things that we have to worry about. So I think there's actually an easier way to come up with our correct answer of positive 8. Right, so first thing I'm going to do when I get a problem that looks like this is take note and change any two negative signs that are right next to each other and turn them into a positive sign. So this minus a negative 5 is going to turn into plus a positive 5. So I'm going to do that first. Right? And then I'm going to take my numbers and I'm going to gather kind of like terms, numbers that are like. And by like, I mean they have the same sign. So if we look at this, right, this 2 is a positive 2, and this 4 is a positive 4, and this 5 is now a positive 5. So if we combine all three of those numbers together, right, 2 plus 4 gives us 6, plus 5 gives us 11. So we have a positive 11. The only number that we haven't used so far is this one negative number. So we have a negative 3. Right? So we've grouped all of our positive numbers together. We only had one negative number, so we just left that as it is. And now that we're done with grouping all of our like numbers together by sign, well, now we are left with one subtraction problem to finish this off. So 11 minus 3 gives us 8. Our larger number is positive, so our final answer is going to be positive 8. Right. We can do this last example similarly. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this minus a negative 6 into plus 6. Right. I'm going to find my positive numbers. Well, this 6 is now positive and this 3 is positive. 6 plus 3 gives me 9. Right. Then I'm going to take my negative numbers. I have a negative 5 and a negative 7. Negative 5 and negative 7 give me a negative 12. Now I'm going to subtract these two numbers that I have left. Right? 12 minus 9 gives us 3. Our larger number is negative, so our final answer is negative 3. Right? So if we have a long string of numbers that are being added and subtracted together, right, feel free to work from left to right using our order of operations. That's how we should proceed through it. Or if you feel like it, I think this way it's a little bit easier to organize. Group all of your positive numbers together, group all of your negative numbers together, and then go ahead and do the subtraction and assign your final answer with a correct positive or negative sign based on the larger number of that subtraction part of the problem.